There could be no more accurate statement than to call Pat Collins a trailblazer for women in the confectionery industry. Born on June 16, 1947 in Brooklyn, New York, to John and Suzanne Moran, Pat grew up with 5 siblings: Susan, Peggy, Michael, John, and Timmy. 8 people under one roof is a lot, but imagine all 8 living in a small 2-bedroom home. That's how Pat grew up. To fully understand how Pat came to be a successful candy professional, you have to look no further than her upbringing. She learned about having a strong work ethic from her parents. Her father spent weekends building additional bedrooms in the attic for his growing family. Having served in the Army during World War II, John utilized the GI Bill to purchase Pat's childhood home and attend college in the evenings. Pat recalls her dad being a great dancer with a beautiful voice sounding just like Elvis when he sang "Love Me Tender." Much of Pat's sales skills came from growing up in a busy household. At one point, 2 of her grandparents lived with the family. If you're keeping count, that's 10 people in a small house with 1 bathroom. Needless to say, everyone had to get ready quick, and Pat still does. She was rarely alone and didn't require alone time, which still holds true to this day. Pat likes being around people, which works well in sales. Her parents taught her to be respectful of others while also respecting herself. 1 month before her 17th birthday, Pat's dad passed away at the age of 46. Pat lost her grandmother and her father within a span of 3 months. At the time, Pat's mom returned to work, leaving Pat and her 2 sisters to care for their 3 younger brothers. Pat recalls that her mom sacrificed so her children didn't have to, and she did it with style and grace. At age 60, she survived 2 years of chemotherapy and continued to live another 25 years. As much as Pat learned from her father, she learned just as much from her mom. She had such a positive influence on Pat that to this day she strives to live life by her mom's example. Mom to 3 sons, Christopher, Brian, and Kevin, Pat is also the proud grandmother of 7. Pat's career in the candy business began by accident in 1975 when she joined A&S Department Stores as a sales associate in the bulk candy department. Her friends had asked her to drive them to a job interview. Since all 3 of them had preschoolers, she agreed to watch the children while her 2 friends interviewed for holiday positions. As Mrs. Delmonico, the HR manager, walked the ladies out of their interviews, she noticed Pat sitting in the car and invited her in for a chat. She was hired 20 minutes later. Pat worked her way up to assistant manager of the candy department, where she was responsible for managing inventory and placing orders. When Barton's Candy Company's vice president visited Pat's department, he would routinely ask if she would come to work for Barton's as a district sales manager handling department store accounts. Each time, Pat would respectfully decline. During one visit, however, he offered her a company car with the position. Well, timing is everything, and Pat desperately needed a car. So in 1977, she became district key accounts manager for Barton's and is seen here at a ribbon cutting in Bermuda for the company. Pat will be the first to tell you she owes her career in candy to Mrs. Delmonico from A&S, as well as Joseph Deutsch from Barton's, not to mention the allure of a company car. She joined Sterling Candy Company in 1982 as district sales manager and several years later moved to Miss Saylor's Candy Company as key account manager before joining M&Y Sales Candy Brokerage as vice president. Pat says the most memorable moment in her career came in 1991 when Candy Hall of Famers Herm Roland, pictured here with Pat, and Bill Kelly hired her as a sales manager for Jelly Belly Candy Company. Always the trendsetter, she was the first female to join the sales and marketing team in a leadership position. Here she is on her first day. Bill attributes Pat's success to being an excellent problem solver, often bringing her to meetings during difficult customer negotiations. With Pat, he says, the customer always feels like they've been heard, no matter the outcome. Some of Pat's greatest successes while at Jelly Belly include initiating new distribution in the East, opening retail channels that did not previously purchase candy, managing the entire network of specialty brokers, and continuously increasing sales. 2018 Candy Hall of Fame inductee Jeff Rubin, shown here with Pat and members of the It's Sugar and Jelly Belly teams at a recent store opening, tells us Pat is one of the biggest reasons Jelly Belly was at the forefront when specialty bulk candy stores inundated the country in the 1990s. When other manufacturers started jumping into the same space, Jeff recalls Pat and her team helped develop a separate trade fixture specifically to display Jelly Belly products. Truly ingenious is how he describes it. Along with Pat's career accomplishments, she has served as a role model and mentor for many female executives within the confectionery industry. Dillon's Candy Bar founder, Dylan Lauren, shown here with the inductee and Candy Hall of Famer John Pola, met Pat 17 years ago at the Sweets and Snacks Expo. Dylan was attending the show alone and was new to the industry. That didn't stop Pat from taking her under her wing. In addition to introducing Dylan to the Jelly Belly family, Pat opened the doors to other companies and made it clear the industry is familial, friendly, and supportive. There was a time when Pat was the only woman traveling to customers and attending trade shows. Candy Hall of Famer Shelley Clary notes, "Pat paved the way for so many of us. Women across the industry recognize it and are grateful." Pat says she would like to be remembered as a nice, strong woman with a good heart, as well as a devoted and dedicated parent, grandparent, partner, sibling, friend, and coworker. Mission accomplished, Pat. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pat's longtime partner, Richard Butler, to help induct her into the Candy Hall of Fame.